starting to scroll TikTok for a couple of hours every day was a huge change, but it's really helped. I think you just see what type of viral UGC is popping up on your feed.
You have taken a mobile app, scaled it, and taken it through YC. What were you seeing the other YC consumer mobile apps do for growth?
I think UGC is actually in a meta right now. Right now, we probably have around 25 TikTok videos going out per day. So I think organic can get the lowest cost per install. Something that we do that's different is looking at retention. We invest a ton.
If you're a new mobile app, what's the first thing you do? All right, well, Ben, welcome to Valid Podcast. You have worked with Valid for several months in the past, and then also taken a mobile app, scaled it, and taken it through YC. Welcome.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
Maybe just to get started, how about walk us through what is Sorce? How did you come up with the idea? What was the origin story? And yeah, what brings you here today?
For sure. So the Sorce of the Tinder for Adults app, and the origin story is basically that me and my friends were applying to a job. So it would take hours every single day, filling out the same work experience and same education over and over again. And I kind of just started to feel like a waste of time. So we basically created this app that when you swipe, we set up a browser in it to find the drugs for you.
That's super interesting. Like why Sorce over using like a traditional job board or something like that?
So traditional job boards just take a really long time to use. We're essentially filling out the same information, just built an AI agent to do it for you. And as soon as we launched that, it went super viral.
Can you expand on that? How did you launch it? How did it go viral? Why did you choose a mobile app? How did you make it go viral? Walk us through the virality there.
For sure. So the initial launch was actually on LinkedIn. We built a Chrome extension that would help you apply to jobs quicker. After that, we kind of decided that the easiest form factor was an app, because if someone could swipe on an app like Tinder and we could handle all of the backend for them, we figured that would be the most popular. After the initial LinkedIn launch, we just started making TikToks, and we stumbled on format really luckily that worked. I think it was like our third video ever that we posted, got 1 million views. So we kind of discovered an organic format that worked well. We were just spam posting on TikTok, and then we just took that to, I guess, probably at this point, like 850,000 users.
I guess we need to get super tactical. What does spam posting on TikTok mean? And you went from a Chrome extension to a mobile app, and then things took off. What prompted you guys to realize that, hey, we should go from Chrome extension to mobile app, and why do you think that worked?
And we realized that as we were making TikToks, the TikToks with the mobile app would go way more, just because it's so much easier to go from a TikTok downloading an app versus going on your laptop, downloading a Chrome extension. There's just way more friction there. That's kind of how we decided on the form factor of the app. I guess what you would call UGC, user generated content. It's basically getting a bunch of creators to post on new fresh accounts, just videos of them using your app in an organic way. As you kind of want to scale their numbers instead of just using typical influencer marketing. It's super cheap per video. Right now, we probably have around 25 TikTok videos going out per day. And if one of them takes off, then it basically pays back the entire program. So in a given month, we'll be having 750 videos going out.
And then how are you tracking videos, and how do you know what's doing well, what's not doing well?
Good question. So there are a bunch of really cool tools like SideShift, Viral.app, bunch of tracking tools that will help. In terms of how we determine if a video goes viral, we found a few key metrics that contribute well to videos going viral in our format. So let's say a video has 50% of people still watching at 5 seconds. If that's the case, then it has a decent chance to go viral, because that's not every video with really good metrics will go viral, but all of our videos in App One Vi have had these specific metrics.
Interesting. So it's 50% of people are watching through half the video. That means okay, this is a good format. It's worth recreating. It likely led to conversions and virality and all that good stuff.
And literally all you do is look at the retention graphs, see if people are dropping off at specific points in the video, figure out how you could fix them. And then you just get as many people to complete the video as possible.
And then when you're launching, let's say 20 videos a day, is it from the same set of creators? Is it the same video format over and over again? I'm so curious how you put up that much content and monetize.
At this point, we basically have a roster of 25 creators that are really good, that we really like. So we kind of trend through a lot of people, because it's kind of a numbers game at the end of the day. At least 20% of people are going to be good. We generally do 80% of the posts just in one format, and then 20% of the time we let the creators kind of decide, or we'll come up with new hubs, new formats to try out. But usually we like to just stick to our bread and butter.
And then do you do anything when it comes to, competitor research, or trying to figure out, what is our next big format? Is there, do you do that? Or is it let's just do what works and do it over and over and over again?
So the 20% for us is experimentation. A lot of my time is just spent scrolling TikTok. I used to not even have social media on my phone. So starting to scroll TikTok for a couple of hours every day was a huge change. but it's really helped. I think you just see what type of viral UGC is popping up on your feed.
Yeah, I almost wonder if you guys have this within your company. We have it at Valid. We have this Slack channel. We call it Awesome Creatives, and it's just ads that are sent over and over and over again. It's also like really interesting because you would think that like the same type of content will resonate with everyone, but it's really interesting to see what type of ads like engage what type of person, and also what type of ads are served to what type of person. Because some of these ads, will see them and like, this is an amazing ad, but that would never show up in my feed. Do you guys do stuff like that within Sorce to almost like send content to each other and have like a ever growing swipe file or something like that?
Yeah, we're not as official as to having our own Slack channel just for this, but everybody on my team will just text me a bunch of videos that they see that go viral. It's really interesting the factors that can cause videos to go viral. For example, you might have a video that goes viral when your creator is like an older, like looking like a mom type. For if you're like talking about remote jobs.
I did want to ask you about copying. This is our first strategy, our favorite strategy at Valid. We say like Valid think the same. So what I mean by that is when we're trying to come up with new ad concepts for our clients, what we try and do is find ad concepts that are working for their competitors, and then we take them. Do you do that in organic? Does that work effectively? Or yeah, I'm curious if you like how do you copy, if at all?
Yeah. So as I was saying earlier, I don't actually come from a background of scrolling TikTok and being brain rotted. So generally, like, I'm really good at operational stuff, but I'm not super good at coming up with content from scratch. So we definitely do copy.
I love that. I think one of the craziest things that I see people do is come up with original content. I just never. So let's copy. That's easy. That works. I also wanted to chat a little bit about paid ads as well. So I think organic is the lifeblood of Sorce. You had obviously ventured into paid ads with Valid. What sort of took you down that path? What are how do you compare organic versus paid? What kind of users do you think should, or like what was not users, but what sort of apps should be thinking about having a more paid heavy approach versus a more organic heavy approach?
If you're in the mobile app space and are struggling with paid ads, we'd love to chat. We'll even go through your ad account and tell you what you should work on. Just head over to valid.co, click book a demo, and we'll get in touch. Now, let's hop back in with Alex.
So I think the best way to think about this is that the best way to create new content is through organic, and then you want to scale the content. So I think organic can get the lowest cost per installs. And I think if you get to the point where your LTV is greater than your cost to acquire the user and your cost to maintain the user, then you should just start like using a bunch of paid ads.
Yeah, that makes sense. So it's sort of like start with organic, get the first set of users, start to understand your unit economics, and then use paid ads to kind of like take that knowledge and scale it beyond. Yeah, that makes sense. We've seen that across Twitter, across Cal AI. Another one I wanted to ask you about is, and this is like how when we worked together, Sorce didn't have like a monetization event. So on paid ads, like what was the objective in running paid ads at the moment, and like yeah, how did you measure success?
At that point, our objective was kind of just to understand paid ads. I think we were only able to do this because we're like a VC-backed startup. So if you're bootstrapped, it may not be as good of an idea.
Yeah, no, that's fair. And obviously that's one of the benefits of doing of like being a VC-backed startup, right? Is you get to experiment faster and kind of like play like you're 4 steps ahead of where you actually are. We benefit from that as well. We're also a VC-backed startup. Actually, along the lines of VC, you went through YC as a mobile app. Yeah, can you like walk me through what that process was like? What was your interview? What did they ask you? Yeah, and then how like what were those 2-3 months like?
Yeah, so our interview was actually pretty unofficial. We applied after the deadline. The whole experience of YC was really great too. They generally segment the batches by industry type, so we were in a consumer batch.
Can you walk me through the interview? Like, what did they ask you? What did you say? What do you wish you said? And yeah, I'm super curious.
I don't think there's anything that we wish we said differently. A tip, I guess, would be to find someone that you know that did the interview and ask them for as many tips as possible. But generally all they're going to ask you about is they just want to figure out about your company and about the founders, if they're qualified or not. And your answers are generally supposed to be less than a minute to a minute and a half. So super concise answers, just telling more about your company.
And then you mentioned that in YC you're put in these batches where you're like working alongside a bunch of other companies. I assume you're with other consumer mobile apps. What were you seeing the other YC consumer mobile apps do for growth?
I think UGC is actually in a meta right now. Everybody was either using an agency to run their UGC or creating their own organic content and scaling it through paid.
Then actually one other question for you. So you mentioned some are doing it in-house, some are using an agency. Yeah, like how did you see that split? Do you think it was like yeah, like what types of companies were working with agencies versus doing it in-house? Maybe what's the trade-off?
I think usually smaller teams were doing it with agencies just because they didn't have the manpower to start a growth program from scratch. I think agencies will definitely give you better results from the start. I think the benefit there in doing it in-house is just that you gain domain knowledge that an agency will never, I guess, give you for free.
As an engineer entering like TikTok brain rot, what shocked you? And then like maybe what's really weird about your approach that maybe like a traditional agency or someone who's from the like from that world would uh would not do.
I honestly found it interesting how addictive these products are. Keeping myself off social media really helped my productivity, but it's really the only way to understand the algorithms, find viral concepts. Something that we do that's different is looking at retention graphs a ton. All of us are engineers at Sorce. None of us come from a content creation background. So it's really interesting to break down the videos by who's watching at what point. We don't really do any other, like, I guess, qualitative analysis. We kind of just see, 20% of people dropped off between seconds 2 and 4. How can we fix it? We'll hypothesize, test with the creator. And then if it doesn't work, we'll test again and just until something works.
Do you like you see with your creators, you mentioned like 80% is from like is you want them to run what's tried and true, what works. 20% you want some new shots on goal. With that 80%, how are you conveying that information to them? Is it briefs? Is it like hopping on a call? It's just kind of like getting very tactical. And like how do you scale a UGC program?
We usually just create briefs. That is the most scalable way that we found. We can text out a brief to everybody just through messaging API, which has been super helpful. In terms of feedback, we're usually really hands-on.
Have you messed around with like AI UGC at all? Have you seen that work or not work?
I'm actually experimenting with it right now.
Out of TBD.
We've been able to get a lot of use with it.
What's your stack for AI UGC?
So far, I've just been using Kling and NanoPen.
Nice, yeah. How is it? Like, is it extraordinarily painful, or is it pretty quick? Or
It's actually a pretty painful process right now, just because I don't understand the tooling. But all of these providers have APIs, which is really cool. So I think eventually we could set up a really good content form, which is kind of why I'm looking into it in the first place.
yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah, that's actually like one of the big like focus areas for us as well, as we now do like we do video creative, but we actually recently like, moved off of all of our creators, and now we only do AI UGC. But it's extraordinarily painful to make the content and especially to make it look good. I think those are actually like particularly interesting for like organic and paid ads, because with paid ads, if you have an influencer, you can like basically run everything as a Spark ad or dark post. And like Spark ad is where like your creator posts it and then you just take that post and you scale it. Dark post is you have an ad, it might not even be from that creator, but you run it from that creator's page, and that'll actually reduce CPMs by 10% or so. So having these like AI creators lets you have a bunch of accounts that assuming they're calibrated to your audience. Like if you have, I don't know, like an account that's about nail polish, probably wouldn't help Sorce much. But if you had an account that was about, I don't know, like maybe like something related to interview prep, and then you ran ads for Sorce from that account, I would assume it would do pretty well. So there are actually agencies out there that all they do is dark post. So they just they produce they basically produce like influencer accounts, and then they have no interest in like traditional influencer marketing, where it's like the influencer set, it's like you might have an influencer be like, hey, like buy water, it's good for you. They have no interest in that. All they want to do is sell the rights to that influencer account to other people who are buying ads to make a dark post, and because it reduces CPM, they charge you a percentage of spend. So yeah, it's pretty cool. I think also with AI, if you set up a good content flywheel, you can scale that infinitely and go into a bunch of different niches. Cool. Definitely chatted for a bit on lots of different things here. One final question for you. If you're a new mobile app, actually 2 questions for you. If you're a new mobile app, what's the first thing you do? And if you're a mobile app at 100K trying to get to that next tier, what do you do?
I think if I was a new mobile app, I would just make Figma designs and try to promote it to BBC. See if the video went viral, and then if it goes viral, just start creating ads as soon as possible. You can ship a beta version within a week, and hit up everybody that reacted with interest in the video and just have them be beta testers. If you want to scale an app for 100K MRR, I think you have to start using paid ads, just because organic content has a limit. And I think scaling paid ads once you get 100K MRR is the way.
Awesome. No, that makes sense. I appreciate it. Any final notes of wisdom for folks who are either starting mobile apps or are interested in getting into YC and scaling their business from there?
In terms of getting into YC, I think all you need is a bit of traction, and they'll be very interested in you. I applied with a different startup that had very little traction, and they were super interested as well. So really just, if you want to get into YC, start building something, get some users, and then apply.
What would you call like a little bit of traction? Like enough to like how much traction do you need to pique YC's interest?
I think at that point on my other startup, it was more a B2B thing. I was automating customer service for some people, but I think I had 20 customers.
Okay.
They're really small. You're paying $40 a month. Like, I wasn't making a crazy amount of money.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for coming on, Ben. It's yeah, honestly, love working with you, and like I was like super interesting to hear about how you're scaling Sorce. Anything that people should know if they're looking for a job?
Well, so I think Sorce is the best way to find a job. Obviously, we helped automate a bunch of applications, but other than that, nothing really. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it, and I hope we can work together.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks, Ben.